Hi, everyone, and welcome. Today, we're diving into an absolutely brilliant idea for any special occasion. We're calling it the Valentine's Day Gamble, and we're going to break down the anatomy of a perfect choose-your-own date. So let's get right to it. So let's just start with the big question, right? How do you create a date that you're actually going to remember for years? I mean, we've all been there. A nice dinner is great, but it doesn't always create a real story. You need something a little extra.
And that's exactly what we're looking at today. We're going to break down the choose your own adventure date. And to do it, we're using a real life example from YouTubers Jasmine and James to give you a kind of blueprint for an unforgettable day.
All right, first things first, let's get into the method. How does a choose your own date actually work? Well, the best part is it's so simple. Okay, so it boils down to 3 easy steps. 1, you prep 2 secret options for each stage of the date. 2, you write each of those options on its own little folded piece of paper. And 3, you let your partner pick their path, totally sight unseen. It's this amazing way to bring in an element of surprise and, shared adventure. You're basically handing over control, which gets your partner invested from the very start. So let's see how this actually played out for our couple. We're going to look at the first choices of the day, which right away set this really fun and spontaneous tone. The day kicked off with brunch. The choices were pretty simple: takeout or dine in. Now, James had planned for takeout to be a quick McDonald's stop to eat on the beach. Super casual. So with her eyes closed, Jasmine had to make the first big call of the day. And she chose dine in. And you gotta love James's reaction here. He immediately gets excited for her, calling her lucky. That little comment reinforces that this is a fun game, and it makes her feel like she made an awesome choice. So a nice cafe it was. Okay, next up, the main activity. The choice was between on land and on water. Now, James admitted later that the on land option was mini golf. A classic, fun date for sure, but maybe just a little predictable. But she picked on water. And this is where the anticipation really kicks in. James plays it perfectly. He doesn't tell her what it is, just that she'll need her swimmers. He builds up that suspense, which makes the reveal itself a huge part of the fun. And believe me, that choice led them to something completely unexpected. It really became the highlight of the whole day. So what was the big secret? A gigantic, inflatable aquapark. Seriously, a massive jumping castle floating on the ocean. It's the kind of thing you'd probably never just decide to do on a random Saturday. And that's exactly what makes this whole idea so powerful. Get this, they spent 50 minutes out there. And they even said it was so exhausting they left 5 minutes early. But you could tell it was just pure fun, a totally new physical experience for them to share. Jasmine's reaction afterwards really says it all. I wasn't expecting that, and it was so much fun, I'd do it again 100%. See, that feeling of surprise that came directly from a choice she made is what turned a fun activity into a massive win. So after they caught their breath, the date moved on to the next stage, a picnic. And this? Well, this is where the day took a really sweet, emotional turn, starting with one more choice. After they went and grabbed some picnic supplies, Jasmine had to pick the location, beach or park. She went with the park, and they found this beautiful, quiet little spot to just chill out. So, during the picnic, while they're both relaxed from the day's adventure, James pulls out a surprise. Now, they had agreed not to do gifts, which made it even more special when he gave her this beautiful pearl necklace and earrings she'd casually mentioned weeks before. And it wasn't just about the gift. He gave this really heartfelt speech that became the romantic peak of the whole day. It just goes to show you, this choose your own thing isn't just about games. It creates these perfect, natural moments for real emotional connection. As the evening started to roll in, the format kept going, guiding them right through to the end of their incredible day. For dinner, the options were Indian or Italian. Jasmine picked Italian. And here's a pro tip for anyone thinking of trying this. James was totally prepared. He already had a reservation booked for the Italian place, just in case. You gotta plan for both outcomes. And for the grand finale, the last choice of the night was dessert. Was it going to be heavy, delicious churros, or something a bit lighter, like gelato? She chose gelato, and her comment here is just perfect. She says she's glad it wasn't churros because she was already pretty full from dinner. And that right there is the subtle genius of this whole format. By letting your partner choose, you make sure the day is perfectly tailored to how they're actually feeling right in that moment. So what's the big takeaway here?
This whole date idea isn't really about luck or picking the right option. It's about creating a shared story together, where every little decision becomes a fun part of the memory. It's a masterclass in using surprise and teamwork to build something really special.
Ultimately, what this shows us is that when you give your partner the power of choice, you're not just planning a date, you're co-creating an adventure. It fosters this amazing sense of fun and collaboration. So the only question left for you is, what choices would make up your perfect adventure date?